Hello, Ken Weller here. I'm down at the print farm in the back assembly room, and what I'm doing, I'm actually assembling these little fans in our housings for our solder defuming machine that's going on the helping hand, and had to take a lot of these little switches here, and I think in the other video I showed where I made these things with tabs so I could melt the tabs down on those and hold those switches in place. So right now I'm just trying to get this together. I'm going to get some LEDs in here, get everything ready to solder. I can do this part of the task, and then when my student intern comes in to solder, he'll come in and solder all of these up for me, and he'll be soldering connectors on the ends of these scissors arm booms and so forth, kind of like he's done over here on these. He's been doing a bunch of these lately too. So this is basically where a lot of the soldering's being done now here, and still some of it up in my bonus room at the house. I'm not very good at soldering because with my eyesight like it is, my depth perception's not good, and you need to have depth perception if you're going to bring a piece of solder and a soldering iron together at the same point. So as far as snapping these motors in and feeding these wires in place, I do need a little light to see what I'm doing here. They just snap in place, and then the LEDs, I'll be able to get those in, feed the wires into this chamber where they're wired up, and then he'll do the soldering, and this cover will go down over that, the wires will tuck in, and then once that's done, then we'll be mounting the shrouds on here and putting the screws in. In that last video I did, I talked a little bit about the shrouds and different things I was trying. Since the time that I filmed that, I have designed the filter chamber and everything, and I've ordered the material to make the filters with, and I'll do a video later on when I get that stuff in to show how I make that filter. It will go on here. It should cut the resistance down a lot, make these things work a lot better. So anyway, I thought I'd show you that. We've got a bunch of these pieces here. These are for the FlexArm USB camera. And over here on the shelf, when we solder this stuff up or assemble these parts, we put it in these bins over here on the shelf. We'll put them there, and then these are some of the FlexArm cameras. And then from here, we'll take them to the other room and test all of these things. Test to make sure the cameras are working right and everything. Like some of these FlexArm floodlight attachments, we've got a lot of those in here. They'll end up being tested and everything, go through that step. I've got several steps in the operation. I have, of course, the 3D printing of the parts, ordering other materials like switches, fans, and so forth. Then we'll actually bring them here and assemble them and put this corrugated tubing, cut it and put it on where we need it, and so forth. Do the soldering, and then get those assembled pieces put on the shelf over here, and then we'll take them from there and test them to make sure that everything's right with them, and then they'll start going in boxes. Okay, they go in boxes like these. These are the 15-piece helping hand sets here, and of course power supply and the camera and everything. These parts have all been tested. All that's left now that we've got them in the boxes is that they have to be wrapped and packaged and taped up and a label put on them, and then they're ready to go. So anyway, that's kind of the process there. As you can see, being a one-man operation, it's not easy to keep up with all of this stuff. It's a lot of work, and since I'm doing mostly everything myself, I do have one student intern left now that is still working with me, but he's putting in fewer hours a week now. He helps out mainly with the soldering, but still a lot of this assembly and practically all of the 3D printing and everything is left up to me. So we're keeping up, but just barely, because the sales haven't quite gotten to the point yet where I can justify hiring some additional people to work full-time doing some of this stuff. But we do have our website set up pretty good now and have sales going through it, and we've set up our Amazon store. I think right now we have 20 items that we've put on Amazon. I still have a lot of work. I have marketing videos that I have to do, different types of marketing material that I need to put on there with those products on Amazon, so that when someone does find them, they'll know what the device is for and what its capabilities are. There's a lot of work left to be done there. I don't understand all of the ins and outs yet. I'm just learning. I'm assuming that there are ways to set up keywords and things that will help people find your product on there. And right now, the product isn't coming up in some of the areas where I think it should be coming up. So we're going to work on that a little bit more and see if we can get to the point to where when someone is looking for our product or a similar product, that it will be much easier to find. So I'm going to finish up a few things down here. I've got some stuff printing in the next room, and then I'm going back up to the house. I've got some of those prototypes that I need to start printing for the fan filter. I'd like to see how that turns out. I need to go back up there and do that. Plus I've got some inventory stuff I have to do for the accountants and stuff. It's taking a lot of time. It's hard when you buy all these parts and everything, then trying to keep up with them without having someone doing that and having some kind of an operating inventory system, which I haven't had. I've just purchased the materials and start using them. If they work, fine. If they don't, put them back on the shelf. Well, now I need to have all of that documented, and it's taking quite a bit of time for me to get that stuff together and get all of the quantities, and I've got to take inventory of stuff that I have down here, and I've got boxes of stuff out in the big room. I'll have to end up going through those boxes, I guess, and see what's in those and count the different inventory items there. There's a lot of things just pulling at me from every which way. I guess the squeaky wheel gets the grease. So anyway, I want to sign off now from down here at the print farm and head back up to the house and work on some of the other stuff up there. So until the next time, happy printing from NewTek Inventors.